Hello and welcome to the Driller's Exam Prep course for the Oregon Administrative Rule 690-240. In this, we'll be covering monitoring wells, geotechnical holes, and other holes. I'm Tommy Laird, and I'll be your presenter today. Briefly, everyone should have a copy of the rules or statutes in front of them. There are important definitions in OAR 690-240-0010. And the appendix contains useful diagrams, figures, and tables. What you should take away from this lesson is general monitoring well construction in regards to well protection and casing, well screen, filter pack seal, well development, completion of the monitoring well and well report, and lastly, abandonment of monitoring wells. Briefly, we'll cover the general guidelines that can be found in OAR 690-240-0410. Some of the key ones are monitoring wells cannot be used for drinking water. Monitoring well component shall be selected to last the duration of the monitoring program. The start card number needs to be permanently attached to the well. The landowner is the responsible party for maintaining the well. If a monitoring well disappears, it's on the landowner to make efforts to find the well and get it properly abandoned. Lastly, well ID labels need to be attached to every new well, as well as to every altered or repair well that does not already have a label attached. We'll now cover well protection in OAR 690-240-0420. Every monitoring well needs to be capped and protected. A monitoring well cased with metal and completed above ground surface needs to have a lockable cap with lock attached. In the case if you complete a monitoring well above ground surface but without metal casing, you must install metal protective casing around the well. Lastly, for monitoring wells completed below ground surface, a watertight cap with lock shall be attached to the top of the casing. Additionally, for wells completed above ground surface, you need to leave a minimum casing height of 1 foot above grade. Additionally, these monitoring wells must be protected by 3 metal posts or bollards. The posts need to be 3 inches or greater in diameter, set in or filled with concrete, be done in a triangle array of 2 feet or greater from the casing, and need to extend at least 3 feet above and 3 feet below ground surface. If you're going to use a different surface protection method, a special standard is required. Everything of this covered can be seen here on the slide, and like I said, this is in OAR 690-240-0420. Moving on to monitoring well screens, filter packs, and filter pack seal. You can find this in OAR 690-240-0460. For well screens, they need to be constructed with material appropriate for the conditions. They must have a collapse strength that should withstand the pressure and development of the monitoring well. There can be no pits or breaks. It has to be like new. They must be cleaned properly and must be centered in the borehole. The filter pack needs to consist of clean, chemically inert, well-rounded material. It shall not extend more than 3 feet above the top or 1 foot below the bottom of the well screen. It needs to be placed in the manner as to ensure the placement opposite the well screen is done without bridging or size segregation. A 2-foot layer of fine-grained sand may be placed on top of the filter pack if grout is used. You may also do a minimum of 3-foot thick layer of dry bentonite. With grout slurry, bentonite shall be adequately hydrated. Like that previous slide says, all the rules are right here in OAR 690-240-0460. Seal placement can be found in OAR 690, 240, 04, 75. The seal needs to be done in a manner to minimize the potential for movement of water and contaminants from the surface or other water-bearing zones into the monitoring well itself. As that lovely cartoon states, improper seals placement is risky to our environment and does not do a good job of protecting the resource. Your well seal has to consist of neat cement, sodium bentonite, a cement bentonite mixture, or sodium bentonite granulars, pellets, or chips. For grout slurries, it needs to be mixed in proper proportions and placed into the borehole as to prevent excessive shrinkage, water loss, chemical breakdown, bridging, or invasion into the filter pack itself. If you're going to use unhydrated bentonite, you need, it can only be used in the depth, it should only be used if the depth to the bottom of the seal is less than 50 feet and the standing water in the column of the borehole is less than 25 feet. You must do it at a pour rate of 3 minutes or slower per 50-pound sack. Sounding tamping tools shall be used in borehole construction during pouring to ensure that the bentonite is not bridging. You should minimize the introduction of bentonite dust into the sealing interval, and you shall use potable water in 2-foot lifts to ensure the activation of the bentonite. So we are now going to move on to casing and seal integrity, as in OAR 690, 240, 04, 85. Monitoring well development shall not occur prior to 24 hours after the annual seal placement for cement grout or bentonite grout slurries, or 12 hours after annular seal placement for dry bentonite. The monitoring well may be developed prior to the placement of the annular sealing material. Continuing on, you must remove any water or drilling fluid. You have to stabilize filter pack and materials opposite the well screen, minimize the amount of fine-grained sediment, and maximize well efficiency. This is the function of well development, essentially. For completion of monitoring wells, this is in OAR 690, 240, 0500. The well drilling machine shall not be removed from the site prior to completion or abandonment of the monitoring well. The protective post installation around above ground wells does not require a monitoring well license. Additionally, it can be installed within 1 week of the seal placement. If you don't complete, so say you are doing some protective measures and you have not done that within 24 hours of the seal placement, you must place a barricade around the well or 3 stakes around the well connected with fluorescent tape, or contact the Water Resources Department for the use of protective measures that are approved. We'll now cover the monitoring well reports that must be filled out for every monitoring well. It needs to be completed within 30 days after the well completion, and that is for construction, alteration, conversion, or abandonment of the monitoring well. Additionally, for new wells, you need to, on the well report, you are required to have the name and address of the landowner, the start and complete date of the work, the location of the well, the start card number, the well ID label, the use of the well, type of work, type and amount of sealant used, and the measured rate of grout slurry if used, water temperature, total dissolved solids, and you must include a map with the well's location. Everything I said is in this slide. And once again, this is OAR 690 240 0395. We'll cover proper abandonment and monitoring wells. This is OAR 690 240 0510. To properly abandon and monitoring well, it's done to prevent both vertical movement of water in the well borehole and infiltration of surface water into the well itself. So what happens if you're on a site where the groundwater is contaminated? Abandonment shall require that the borehole be completely re-drilled to a minimum of the original borehole diameter. The casing, screen, sealing material, cutting debris, and filter pack must be removed. On sites where there is no contamination, the following are acceptable methods of original well construction verification: the well report, the well construction information submitted to DEQ, information obtained through downhole geophysical logging or other information as approved by Oregon Water Resources Department. For these sites, you may abandon the wells in place. As I stated, everything is here in this slide for OAR 690 240 0510. It's just a screenshot of the rules for you. In the case of a flowing artesian monitoring well, the flow has to be confined and restricted by a cement grout applied under pressure, or by the use of a suitable well packer or wooden plug placed at the bottom of the confining interval immediately above the artesian water-bearing zone. We are going to talk about geotechnical holes, cased or uncased. But essentially what a geotechnical hole means is a hole constructed to collect or evaluate subsurface data or information, monitor movement of landslide features, or to stabilize or dewater landslide features. Geotechnical hole includes closed-looped ground source heat pump borings. Geotechnical holes are not monitoring wells or water supplies wells as defined below. So quickly, additional classification for geotechnical holes. This can be found in OAR 690 240 0035. Classification is that they are temporary. They shall not be there for more than 72 hours. They can be cased permanently or uncased permanent, and they can be done for slope stability. The reporting requirements are if they are greater than 18 feet deep, within 50 feet of a water supply or monitoring well, are used to check water quality, or constructed in an area of known contamination. A very useful tool can be found in the appendix in table 240-1. Essentially, it will tell you what the hole type is and what rules apply specifically to that hole. Thank you for sitting through this with me. I hope you enjoyed it. You can contact the well construction and compliance team at this email address listed below. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck on your test, and thank you.